Welcome to the live stream. Remember to subscribe if you want more of this content. Today we're going to be talking about the theory of the gang stalking military underground clone replacement theory. Okay? So I'm probably the only originator, the only TI that's ever brought this up. And I'm not saying that this is what's going on, but it's something that I believe should be discussed. With gang stalking, we talk about the government, the FBI, the terror watch list, demons, spirituality. If you're gonna talk about all that stuff, you gotta include this theory as well. And that's the theory that there's cloning technology, cloning companies, cloning organizations that targeted individuals are members of society who once were real people, and then they mysteriously die, and the cloning company goes to their family and offers to bring their loved one back as a clone, as an explanation for the gang stalking, as an explanation to the synchronization of people following you around, the airplanes, the drones, the mind reading technology. What if all of that's not possible with regular humans, but it's possible with these clones? Now, you're saying to yourself, oh, that's science fiction. That's this, that's that. There's two possibilities with the cloning theory. Now, targeted individuals could be born as clones in vitro, as in their mother gets pregnant with a test tube baby that's a government lab clone that's hooked up to the quantum computer that can do all these synchronizations. That's why TIs can get targeted and regular people can't. Because it all has to do with the cloning technology. So let's say you targeted individuals are cloned out, right? So with the clone, as opposed to a regular human, this is what they'll be testing for. Looking through the clone's eyes, feeling what the clone feels. Maybe this is where the remote neural monitoring comes in as well. Reading the clone's thoughts as a way to replace normal humans with these targeted individual clones that can be managed by a quantum computer, can be mind controlled more easily, have the synchronizations and the brain computer interface mapping done easier to them than opposed to like a random technology that just targets random people. Now, if they were, and I'm not saying this is true, but I've spoken about this before and I've gotten a lot of gang stalking, right? So the reason why I bring this up is the supernatural things that happen in gang stalking. So you have things like the synchronizations of the neighbors. Excuse me. Every time you go outside, your neighbor comes outside. Every time you come home, your neighbor pulls home at the same time. So what if TIs are these clones that are surveillance, remote neural monitoring surveillance? They think they're TIs, but they're actually part of the program. And they're used to actually surveil other humans that aren't clones. So, underground military personnel approach your parents. We're going to go with the scenario that the TI dies and there's technology to clone a family member. So these like underground black military bases and these like defense contractors, they have like unlimited spending. So what they're doing, they're cloning people in these fucking Area 51 scenarios, right? And they're deploying these humans. And when these humans get deployed over the killed real TI, they have to be monitored. That's explanation for the overexertion of the gang stalking surveillance with the drones and everything. People, neighbors, other people, fucking other clones monitoring you. And they want to make sure that you don't fucking clone out. Like there's actually a Netflix show. Like I'm the originator of this theory. But this next Netflix series, I think it's from Canada. I forget what it's called. Like Black Mirror or something. I might be wrong about the name. But they completely stole my idea. Like this is my idea. So they're reading your vitals. Like, they're harassing you to read your vitals, to map your brain, because you're the clone and they can read your fucking stuff easier than like a human. So it's just a little theory I was kind of thinking about, like, real. It's a thing that you like. We associate everything with gang stalking, except it's one of the most taboo conspiracies out there, that people, oh, you have to be born a clone, or you would automatically remember being cloned. But how would you know? Like, what if they had the possibility to clone anybody at any age, just in a fucking machine, just like Donald Marshall talks about? And TIs are just property of like these military industrial complex, like fucking corporations and organizations. And they're just fucking, that's why we have no rights. Like, it makes more sense than demons. Like, I'll just be honest with you, it does. It makes more sense than demons, witchcraft, and all the other gang stalking lore. Because we don't know shit about gang stalking. Maybe this is why we get hit with directed energy. Like, I don't personally get hit with it anymore. Because the easiest way, I don't know anything about cloning, but I'm just saying, if clones existed and you were property and at behest of these corporations, these scientists, these breakaway civilization cultists, just getting stuffed up right now, man. See, like, there's certain things I talk about and like my body will react a certain way, and like I can't fucking talk about it. Like, this doesn't happen a lot, but this is weird. Like, I've never really had this. And that's something that happens with gang stalking. Like, you'll be like trying to research something in gang stalking on your phone. That's like relatively important. And like, you'll just start falling asleep, or like, this is fucking weird. I'm getting stuffy. I need to open the window. I'm driving right now. It's gonna get noisy. It's probably get choppy. And I'm not coughing and doing this shit on purpose. Like, I fucking can't. Like, every time I start talking, my nose gets stuffed up. So, like, let's say I was a clone. What if, like, they have a computer? Like, this is what TIs talk about. Oh, they can make you cough. They can make you fart. Like, they can make you fucking want to go pee. Like, I don't think technology is that advanced where you can just laser that in on anybody. But if someone was a clone or a robotoid or property of something else, because there are these real looking androids and shit too. So what if TIs are actually fucking androids that are realistic humanoids that have like personalities, emotions, and things like that, and they're deploying them into these families? And that's why we get gang stalked, because if that was true, they would want eyes on you. They would want to dedicate all that fucking footwork and surveillance on you if you were some type of robotoid. Because let's say you were a robot and you started running into the woods and like they couldn't keep track of you. That would be a huge issue. More than a TI in the fucking FBI or some shit, right? So gosh, I'm on the highway right now. It's just wolf pack drivers everywhere, man. They're not really wolf packing, but they're just packing together. I hate that shit, man. Like, there's plenty of open road and everyone's just driving next to each other and shit. Now, people think that's gang stalking. People claim stuff like that. It's gang stalking. They'll be like, all these people are gang stalkers. Look at all these. See, I got all blacks. Like, there really is a bunch of black cars here. There's 2 in the left lane. There's 2 in the lane, and there's 2 silvers. But people are like, oh, that's gang stalking. Now, what if that was because you were a clone and you get your own traffic algorithm? Like, it would explain it. What if TIs weren't real humans? What if they were realistic scientific androids that are deployed into families, and the families get hush money And that's why all these people are paid off to fucking like mess with you and shit. Like you're just a fucking android, and everything's just a science experiment. Oh, if we do this with this perp, what will the android do? If this perp wears a red shirt, will the android go crazy? Like, dude, there's been some times when I was really starting to pay attention to these license plates. Like, dude, I was like hooked up to a computer. It's like I could read someone's license plate and tell if it was like a Freemason, if it was a gang stalker, what it was, a normal person. And I was just like Terminator looking at license plates. Like, that's what I used to do. I don't do that shit as much, but so if TIs, see, I keep fucking, my throat keeps getting fucking stuffed. Like, would this be a way to silence a fucking clone if it was fucking revealing some information that didn't mean to be revealed? So I fucking make it throat get all clogged up and shit, sinuses. See, like, this is something I talked about before. Like, I used to go on these running live streams where I run on a trail for a couple miles, and then I'll just talk and stop and, catch my breath, talk. Now, that was the other time I talked about the cloning thing, and like all of these people on bikes that look like fucking reptilians, like fucking aliens, like non-human, regular people, but they're just moving real quick and like just seem shady. They just all go whizzing by me and shit. Like a duck started attacking me. Like it was like a little lake with a boardwalk and shit, and I was sitting there talking, and all this weird shit was happening. I was talking about the cloning. So it could be an explanation, either clone or microchip, but I want to go with clone. I feel like that's the explanation why there are perps being paid off, why there are these scenarios they do with TIs, because they're all fucking cloned out. So every time a perp does something, it's like a science experiment. Like, how is this clone going to react? Like, why would they care so much about a regular person to do all this shit, though? Like, I'm saying that as a TI. After a while, and we're talking about the amount of money and all that shit. God, these fucking drivers suck. Like, everyone's going 90 in the right lane, no one's in the left lane, and they're just driving next to each other and shit. I just want to fucking drive smooth. The safest way of driving is driving away from people. Like, don't drive next to somebody on the fucking highway. But that's what I think this shit is, man. And then maybe that's why people get like mind controlled around TIs to perp them out. So it would explain the silence, like why people don't fucking whistle blow on this shit. Because gang stalking isn't real. The tactics are real. The harassment can be real. Sometimes you can get confused about it, where it's like, or like TIs call everything gang stalking. So like you can get in an organic fight, you're being an asshole, someone else being an asshole. Oh, that's a gang stalker. And you look for one little pattern they got to see, oh, look, he has red shoelaces. Like, that's what TIs do and shit. That's just to make you look crazy. But sometimes it's like a magnet where bad shit happens to TIs, whereas it has nothing to do with gang stalking, but it is the targeting program. Like, there's been stuff that's happened in my house where it's like, I know a perp didn't do this shit, man. Like, poltergeist type shit. Like, I believe a perp does it, but I don't think they always come in the house like that. But you'll just like fucking like all these little vandalism shits, like my Xbox turning on and off, like basically my Xbox controller, brand new controllers, at the right trigger always fucking breaks on it. And the way it breaks is like someone fucking opens the controller up and fucking sabotages the controller, which I know didn't happen. But like stuff like that will happen all the time. Like there's no logical reason why something happens, but it is part of your targeting, right? So like, what is this shit? This is what I'm trying to get at. I know it has to do with TIs. It has to do with something where like TIs are different from everyone else, and people secretly know that, but they don't tell people. It has to be something that, oh, this TI, it's not something bad. Like, this TI has to be treated differently because this TI is XYZ. And it's not mental illness or anything like that, too. Like, it has to be a fucking logical reason. One reason, and it's possibly not this, but you can't just throw this shit out, is that TIs are either A, microchipped secretly, and then people are informed about it, B, cloned, you know. Some people say like alien human hybrids and shit like that. I don't really buy into that, but that could be a possibility as well. I don't just believe that, because when you really go through this program, yeah, technology, yeah, perps came in your house or perps did that, this and that. There's certain things that happen as a TI where it's like it's damn near supernatural shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like nobody's sitting around in a fucking fusion center. I haven't seen this, but like putting up holograms or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen some crazy shit, but like I seen Jake Paul was talking shit after he won to Dana White on a World Star Hip Hop video, just him on his St. Bart's Island on a beach at night. And this like UFO thing like whizzed past, like it was a light. It was low. It was probably like fucking 800 feet off the air and just whizzed past them. It didn't look like some big UFO fucking thing. But that same shit happened to me. That same shit happened to me. This shit was probably like 150 feet off the air, where it's like I pretty much thought it was a drone, but it was going way too fucking fast. It was going at like UFO speeds, but it was something small. It was like it was basically what I thought was a drone. So like weird shit happens like that. And then the thing with the airplanes in the beginning of your Gangstalking, you get targeted by airplanes. Like airplanes get rerouted over you. And I'm not talking about the small planes, like the big jumbo liner planes and shit. Like honestly, like in the beginning of my target, I was getting a lot of Boeing planes just fucking all day. And it was after I downloaded FlightAware, I started seeing this more. But I'm talking about every time I left a building, there'll be a giant airliner going really low, and I'm like, you're nowhere near the fucking airport to be like even doing that this often, man. And I moved around too. And it would happen, like it would synchronize as soon as I leave buildings. And it would be like fucking multiple times a month. Like, and now that shit just doesn't fucking happen. It wasn't normal. Like that shit ain't normal, man. Like, bro, when you walk out of a building, let's say in a month, there shouldn't be like 9 or 10 times where these low ass fucking jetliners fucking dive bomb out the sky. And they used to come and fucking synchronize. Like these people would break their flight path. And when I would go into a rich white neighborhood, like fucking $1 million neighborhood in North Carolina, like Raleigh area, like they would fucking just like break out of their path just to fucking like perfectly synchronize with me, align and go straight over me, like go way out of their path, like tilting their wings at like fucking 9 degrees. I'm not even fucking kidding at this point, dude. Like just doing these fucking crazy maneuvers just to drive right over you. And that happens in the first 2 years of your Gangstalking. But is that because you're a TI, because you're a big terror, like a threat to the FBI? Like, come the fuck on, man. Like, this shit has to do with some deep ass shit. This shit doesn't happen to fucking normal people. Because it hasn't happened in fucking 2 years, year and a half at all. And it didn't happen before then. But it would always be Boeing. Like I got a call from a private contractor that was a Boeing contractor that was calling my phone too. So now Boeing's in the news for getting, like, they've lost some astronauts in space. Their fucking planes are messing up. So this stuff goes deep. Like this stuff has to do with the military industrial complex. Like TIs are fucking right about the tactics, but they're exaggerated. Like I've done it too, where they say everything in the world is gang stalking. You know what I'm saying? Like we have people saying birds are gang stalking them and fucking, you know, stupid shit. And you're gonna think like that. I thought like that for fucking, but it's from hearing from other people. But the airplane shit, like, is definitely a real fucking thing. Like I'm talking passenger airlines. I think these are fucking ghost planes. Like I feel like these are like pilotless planes. Or maybe they have cameras on them or something, but yeah, that was fucking strange. Now, if you were a clone or something, they own you, and they could be making money off of a plane flying over you, transmitting a signal and collecting data or something like that. If you were like a robot and they were trying to do some new world order fucking type of shit, which I think this is what gang stalking is. It's about making money off the target. You know, they probably they're projecting your life in some type of AI sentient world where like some rich elites, they put on a goggle headset. They can like fucking directed energy you, like press buttons and like fucking have planes. Oh, every time we fucking reroute a plane over and we make fucking $250,000. Like it's just a fucking Mario Party type of scenario. If you guys ever played Mario Party for N64, where you're the character of Mario Party, and like they're using your avatar, in real life scenarios onto the military quantum computer, and like you're like a electronic voodoo doll at that point, and you're just fucking you're just a piece of property for these people, and they're just making money, and they're just fucking, it's a new slave system, right? So that's why they have these people fucking following you around. They have these people fucking monitoring your every move, drones on your planes, directed energy. Oh, well, the directed energy is working for the clone. We're going to replace the clone with human beings, with these clones, these targeted individuals. These people have superpowers. Like for me, I'm going to give you an example where I think I'm either some project or clone. Like I've just been getting incredible strength gains in the gym lately for no reason. You know, I'm the type of person, if I get strong, I need to put on weight. Like I'm losing weight and I'm getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. It's like I'm fucking 16 years old, 17 years old, even better. Like I'm even better than a fucking 18-year-old right now. My recovery and all that. This fucking idiot just stops right in front of me. Fucking dickhead faggot, dude. Does a fucking complete brick stop in front of me in a big ass truck, almost fucking rear-ended him because he was letting some people go. Fucking dumb fucking idiot. So anyways, again, every time I have like something really important to say, there's always these matrix distractions, like that fucking guy being brainwashed, mind controlled to do that fucking shit. And he has a vanity plate too, so I assume he's a gang stalker. But what if he's part of my clone matrix to keep me in line? Like normal humans would never go through this. Normal humans would never go through. Like I could show you his plate right now. It says OXCHO COHO. It's like Oxcho or something like that. Oxoho or some shit like that. Oh, it's a vanity play. It's part of. I wouldn't consider that myself gang stalking, but you could use that as a criteria as a quote unquote perp. I don't do that anymore because I don't think people are being paid. If people aren't getting paid for this shit, it doesn't really upset me that they're fucking distracting me in my matrix and they have this shit, because they could be normal fucking people too. But yeah, what's up, Melanin 98? I'm about to wrap this shit up. I just want to go over this theory because it doesn't mean the theory is correct, but I think it's more correct than all these stupid other theories, like fucking the demons and all this stupid shit. I think it's even more than Freemasons. Like honestly, I think TIs are either cloned, microchipped, or like fucking part of some type of experimentation.